of TikTok Twitter account owner. 2 phones? Maybe this is a recording phone. This is Chaiya, I think. Raichick? I don't care. Libs of TikTok, it doesn't matter what you call her. She doesn't respect anybody else's identity. Stochastic terrorist, all-around bad person, Libs of TikTok. We know her name because she got doxxed. Now she's trying to lean into the skid. She's actually, this is Taylor Lorenz, who I don't know a ton about. I know has done some writing and stuff for various outlets and done some reporting. There is a picture of Taylor Lorenz printed on this shirt that Chaiya is wearing as sort of like an own, I guess. But as we'll see, this interview won't go great for Chaiya. Spoiler alert, she's an idiot. Can you believe the transphobe is a dummy? So I haven't actually watched this. I've only seen a few clips going around Twitter, but I would love to sit here and I mean, this is trash, but it's also sort of a cleanse, chat. It's also kind of a cleanse, you know?
Do you know what, is that a public park or is that a private?
No, private.
Private? All right, well, we'll try to keep it short.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Yeah, of course. Oh my gosh, the struggles of LA, I swear. Okay, well, now that we're going, so thank you so much for meeting. First of all, I saw Seth Dillon today saying that you guys are no longer affiliated. What happened with there?
Seth Dillon is the CEO of Babylon Bee. CEO? I don't know.
That he invested in you early, was a huge supporter of you. What happened to that relationship?
Just parted ways.
For what reason?
Personal reasons.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What, you didn't align
Totally amicable. I love Seth.
Yeah.
He's a great mentor.
So why wouldn't you want him involved, or, you know, why isn't he involved in the business anymore?
Just personal reasons. I'm not going to get into it.
Oh, okay. When did that sort of break off?
Recently.
Uh-huh. So how many staffers? Tell me a little bit more about your organization.
We are a small team.
Dude, you can see that she's like being pissy. Why would you agree to this interview, wear the pissy shirt, have the pissy face, and then be mad?
Just a couple people.
And it's all distributed?
It's what?
It's all distributed, as in it's all remote, pretty much? Or do you guys do you have any office space?
It's remote, yeah.
Got it. So when did you start, I guess, what got you into all this? I've always wanted to ask you. I know, I mean, I wrote about sort of the history of your Twitter account, but how did you get involved in politics?
Great question.
If you watch any of my interviews, I talk about this all the time. But just, you know, COVID radicalized me.
Yeah.
COVID radicalized me? All right. We're going to... It's that part of the video already. I got to... Sure. Cope.
In what way?
And they were like forcing us to wear masks and not letting us leave our homes.
Yeah.
And, you know, not letting us work and people losing their jobs. And then people now forcing a vaccine, an experimental vaccine, people dying from the vaccine.
So how did that get you interested in LGBTQ issues?
Great question.
It got me interested in politics. And then once I was interested in politics, I stumbled upon
Fell down the rabbit hole
on this whole movement, and I was absolutely appalled by what I was seeing.
I fell into this movement and was appalled. Yeah, so I'm just dumb as fuck. Completely ignores all the people dying of COVID, of course. We don't have to go into COVID denialism. Is it flagged for that? No, they don't talk about it long enough.
Appalled by what?
The radicalization of it, the way that they come after our most innocent and vulnerable population, or kids.
Who's what?
The way that it makes there's nothing logical about it. There's nothing logical about chopping off kids' body parts. There's nothing logical.
Chopping off kids' body parts. That's right.
Go about giving kids porn in school. There's 2 sexes and that's it. So, you know, anything out of that, it's just based.
Is this why porn in school is being talked about? Because she said there was porn in school in this interview? Who's they? I don't know.
On lies and nonsense.
Yeah. Did you grow up, I know you grew up in a sort of a more conservative.
Yeah.
Conservative community. Did you know any LGBTQ people growing up? What was your exposure to that community just in life prior to sort of understanding the world through politics?
I never really paid attention to it.
So you didn't have any LGBTQ friends or anything?
No.
Family members?
No.
So you're...
Fuck. I've never even once interacted with a gay or a queer person ever once. She's so pissy. She's just, this is just how she is all the time. She's just super pissy.
First exposure to the LGBTQ world was through basically learning about it through the media ecosystem.
Through themselves, actually. They would say exactly what their intentions are, what their whole movement is about. So I learned about it through watching their own videos.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. What sort of videos were you watching? I mean, are you just
All
talking about
the
the TikToks that you share and stuff?
And tons more on TikTok. It's all over TikTok.
Yeah.
Very easy to find.
Yeah. I'm curious, you know, I feel like there's been, especially on, my colleagues have done great reporting on sort of like this rift on Twitter. I know that you have a very conservative fan base, and in your comments sometimes you'll see a lot of commentary about sort of the great replacement theory. What are your thoughts on that?
What are your thoughts on the comments on your post telling me to kill myself?
Horrible. Yeah, horrible. Obviously against that. Yeah.
So will you come
Quite easy. That's terrible. Yeah.
out and condemn that
if Karen was a Pokemon, this would be its evolution.
publicly?
Karen, do. This is the classic, of course, red, blue, 1996 or something Game Freak. No color on the screen at all, just sort of gray, blue, gray, green. And then it flashes back and forth. Karen evolved into Chaiya. What are your thoughts on dead children? She loves dead children. Chat, what do you say we crack open... I went to the gas station today. Subscribe immediately. I went to the gas station today to get a sandwich. There's a sandwich shop inside the gas station. I didn't actually get gas. And they had this fucking masterpiece of capitalism. Like, it's an alcoholic monster. I need to... What an abomination. I'm putting it in me. We should put that... I'm putting this in me. A beast! Let's read the can. This is not sponsored. I can't imagine I'll have a glowing review. Our original crew has been making drinks for 30+ years now. Our favorite brand, Monster Energy, is about to turn 21. We figured why not celebrate the big day by making an adult beverage. All right, that's all I can stomach. Let's see if I can stomach the contents. Looks like cardiac arrest in a can. A cardiac event. It might be. All right, look, if I get a heart attack from this... Monster should give me millions in the settlement, because it doesn't say it might give you a heart attack on the can. A hearty drink. You're not going to believe this. It tastes like a Monster with a little bit of alcohol in it. It tastes like a Monster. It's good. As a person who drinks a Monster from time to time, no, Monster is never good. It's never been good. But I don't know. It's green. It goes in me. Gotta get my green sometimes. You've never had a Monster? Chaiya used to cast a... Well, thank you, Dr. Gamble, for putting us back on track. Chaiya used stochastic terrorism. It's super effective. Turn 2, Chaiya used deflection. Let's see what turn 3 is.
Oh,
No one likes Monster. By the way, hold on. Wait, before we get on to the transphobe, I do have one more of these. You say I hate trans people. Can I hate trans people if I have the white Monster version of this? This is essentially, I mean, this might turn me into a trans person, right? Isn't that how they get you? Doesn't this have estrogen in it or something? Will I be good at coding? Anyway, I have one of these too. We'll do the white Monster another time. I'm not going to drink 2 of these in one day. Holy shit. I prefer Red Bull. I do like Red Bull.
I would condemn it any time. I'm against murdering anyone, of course.
So you're against death threats against me?
I'm a big, as somebody that's dealt with a lot of online harassment, I don't defend threatening to murder anyone.
You know what's funny is she said the right thing here, and she didn't profusely say, "Oh my God, no, I want you to live," or anything. Like, it sounds like I wouldn't cheer it on, but I'm not stopping it, and that's exactly the vibe that I appreciate. I do know the culture.
But I guess I'm curious,
because a lot of times it comes after an attack in the media, like someone like you or another journalist.
So are you saying that, like, you know, if somebody posts something and then attacks follow, that person should answer for those attacks?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh,
I'm saying that
Oh.
people like you tell me that all the time, so I'm just asking if you think the same thing.
Yeah, I don't think I have said that here, but I think it's kind of interesting, I guess, in the conservative movement, there's this ideology around sort of white nationalism, which is obviously kind of a hardline ideology that's generally been pretty critical of Jewish communities. And I'm wondering, as a Jewish woman, how do you feel about sort of aligning yourself with those people and accounts? You know, you see this sort of rhetoric in your replies, and I only bring it up, I'm not saying that you necessarily endorse that rhetoric, I would imagine that you don't, but how do you kind of think about those nuances when you're thinking about kind of the audience that you're building?
Good question.
Some of your audience says we should chop off kids' body parts. What do you think about that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Like a girl says she wants to be a boy, so she chops off her breasts.
I'm a big, I believe in personal liberty and bodily autonomy personally.
So kids should be able to cut off their breasts if they think that they're boys.
I mean,
kids.
I believe in gender ideology. I guess I personally, my feeling is that I believe in personal liberty. I grew up in a town where a lot of people, for their middle school graduation, women got nose jobs. I knew somebody that got a boob job at age 14. And I
actually know people that for like their Sweet 16 have gotten plastic surgery as gifts from their parents before. Isn't that crazy?
I guess I struggle
Cis kids, of course,
to kind of understand the criticism when there's certainly no criticism of that sort of thing, right? But then there's criticism of this other sort of gender affirming, stuff. So
you're comparing a boy being allowed to chop off his penis to a teenage girl getting a nose job?
Well, just to be extra clear, I don't believe that 13-year-olds are able to make those sort of medical decisions.
Minors are, yeah.
Oh, really? And where?
Yeah. Children's National Hospital in D.C. gives 16-year-olds hysterectomies.
Oh, 16-year-olds.
They gave me that. They told me that directly. They said 16.
They said, okay. Youngest hysterectomy U.S. U.S. hysterectomy prevalence by age? Why would the CDC have such rigorous data? I just want to kill. Just show me the numbers. The percentage of the population who get hysterectomies, mostly old people. Most of them are between the ages of 40 and 79. They don't even have numbers for under 20, dude. The CDC doesn't have. This is just overall. Oh, they don't even have it. Okay. Well, as you can see, it's a problem. Let's check the. What the fuck is happening there? Have you seen this video? A gender affirming hysterectomies. Understanding history. You can get hysterectomies. They're offering them at Boston Children's Hospital, which isn't what she's saying. So a different one. But they're not saying that they're for kids. Transgender reproductive health. According to eligibility requirements, minors as young as 15 can receive breast augmentation and double mastectomies with parental consent, but phalloplasty and medioidplasty surgeries require patients to be 18, while 17-year-olds can access vaginoplasties. Vaginoplasties. Yeah, so that's the starting of the process. They're not going to, like, what do you think? They walk in the door and at 17 years old they get a fucking vaginoplasty? It's that's when you can start the consultation process for the thing. Like, how it's crazy these people think that you can walk in like buying a car, you can walk out the same day. Going to get my fucking surgery on my quinceañera.
Girls.
The whole not okay with chopping the booba is bad, but a 14-year-old getting a boob job is okay. Comes off as extremely creepy. I agree. Thank you for the biddies.
And younger, that's what they said. So hysterectomies. There are definitely minors. I know for sure as young as 12 who are getting double mastectomies. They definitely allow vaginoplasties for minors and phalloplasties. I'm not aware of a specific case of a minor, but they allow 18-year-olds.
Yeah, which has, okay, 18-year-olds, you're an adult. But let's just get back to the great replacement stuff, because I'm curious, what are your thoughts on that whole ideology?
I mean, how many?
Uh-oh.
There were times that there were some months over the past 3 years that there were more illegals coming into our border than children being born.
Well, sounds like you agree with the Great Replacement theory. So, yeah. There we go. Cool.
In the U.S.
Chalk another one up.
Does that not look like they're trying to replace us?
Wow. Wow. Does that not look like that? No, it does. What do you mean trying to replace? It sounds like people moving to a place because they believed the hype.
I guess sort of imagine America as a melting pot. Isn't that sort of what America was founded on?
No, but they're actually bringing in more people than are actually being born.
So I guess it sounds like you sort of do ascribe to this theory of the Great Replacement. How does that make you
I just look at the facts and the numbers.
Well, so, I mean, just let's give a corollary, right? A lot of Jewish people fled, Europe, came over here also as immigrants. And there's a lot of criticism towards Jewish people in those movements, in those far-right movements. So I'm just wondering, as a Jewish woman, sort of how you feel about that and your role in cultivating this fan base that might think of you as a minority or an outsider.
Yeah.
Not all cultures are equal. Yeah.
So I know you have a lot of concerns about educational materials and books.
Not all cultures are equal. I mean, it just sounds racist, but I don't know how that answers the question. It's just, here's a racist tidbit. I'm not going to answer the question also. Bold move.
Library books and things, especially...
They're importing people who want to destroy America.
Wow.
And who come here and do not stand for what America stands for.
What does America stand for?
So, and I think, and we see it, there's time after time after time after time. They come in, they're destroying our cities, they bring crime with them, and they are bringing them in to replace us. And, I think people from...
I need to speed it up.
From various countries, they're all different.
So, just back to the sort of education stuff, I know that you're interested in...
How? It will? No, they just are, dude.
Removing a bunch of books from libraries that you consider inappropriate. I was just wondering, out of all the books that you've sort of tried to get removed, how many have you read?
I've read a couple of them.
Which ones?
Genderqueer. I've read This Book is Gay. I've read Flamer. I've read... What were some of the other ones? My Shadow is...
Why would they come to live in a country that they want to destroy? Doesn't make a lot of sense. Well, because they're just inherently evil, Dr. Gamble.
Pink. It Feels Good to Be Yourself. There's so many more. Tons of them.
How do you kind of swear? Would you say, I feel like you are, or at least I feel like you've spoken about free speech before and the need for free speech and sort of supported Elon Musk's sentiments in that area. Would you say that you're a free speech supporter?
Yeah.
So how do you square the sort of being this free speech supporter with wanting to ban literature?
Yeah. What kind of literature?
Any kind of literature.
I mean, it's actually so moist it's dripping.
Another group of people who are heavily accused of wanting to destroy America and often still are Jewish people. Yep.
What kind of literature am I trying to ban?
Lily.
Oh, I thought you were just trying to say you've made an effort to get books removed from schools.
What kind of books?
Books dealing with LGBTQ people and sexual
education.
That's not what I said. Oh, so you're not trying to get any books banned from school?
That's not what I said either.
Okay, why don't you explain to me how you're thinking about this?
You just accused me of wanting to ban books. What kind of books am I trying to ban?
You tell me.
I'm not trying to ban anything.
But you're not trying to ban any books.
Who said I'm trying to ban books?
Are you trying to remove...
Oh, okay, so now I'm walking back my position because,
Books from libraries?
From public school libraries.
Okay. So how do you square your sort of notion of free speech and free expression and allowing all of that stuff with wanting literature removed and wanting access to information removed?
What kind of literature?
You tell me.
Porn. Gay porn.
Yeah.
Gay porn. Okay. Are they providing porn to children? They're not.
And what do you consider gay porn in these books?
So you want to see it?
Are you talking about the stuff that you've tweeted, basically? You consider
yeah,
it
like there's pictures of like blowjobs and like how to have gay sex.
If I
like
was gay or something.
My favorite type of literature is gay porn. Yeah, for the story I read it.
And people masturbating and stuff. Yeah.
Did you?
Like pictures of it.
Oh,
yeah.
totally. And
yeah.
I went to public school. And we had a sex ed class in public school where we were shown, information about sexual health and, sex and masturbation and things like that. I'm curious about your own education. I mean, was that something did you ever go to a sex ed class, or is this all sort of new to you, where you're sort of learning about how this works in public schools?
Shade. That's funny. Volkov's monthly, that's right.
I don't live under a rock.
So you did have sex ed classes when you were growing up?
We had some kind of education, yeah.
So you do think it's important for children to have education, sex education?
Not the way they're doing it in public schools.
How are they doing it?
They're giving kids porn and telling third graders that they should masturbate.
They're telling third graders that they should masturbate. All right. All right. Do third graders, how old are third graders? Like fucking 8? Are 8-year-olds masturbating? I don't remember fapping when I was 8. That seems young. I feel like around 11 or 12 is when you should start. You should bring, okay. As a man, I feel like we should talk to the boys prior to them fapping about fapping. They're gonna do it, okay? We should, or at least around the time. Hey, they're gonna touch their dicks. Their dicks are attached to them. Little boys are gonna be touching their dicks, okay? You want to get out in front of this thing and not be having them touching their dicks when they shouldn't be touching their dicks, okay? We gotta be like, hey, fellas, guys, men, biological males, just so Chaiya doesn't freak out. Hey, any biological men in chat? Huh? You ever touch your biological dick with your biology? I've told you the story about how my dad talked about my sex ed discussion, right, with him. I mean, I independently taught myself essentially, and then also had some schooling in school. But the penis is forbidden. I mostly learned myself through curiosity and the power of the internet, and not porn. Like I actually looked for I was like, hey, where's the clit? Because I would like to know where the clit is before I go attempting to find it on a live subject. I feel like the subject in question deserves me, much like a surgeon, to have some prior knowledge before I attempt my first surgery, you know? And in this case, it was going down on not even my girlfriend at the time, I was just like, man, I better be prepared. Daddy Jake's got too much riz to go unprepared into the wilderness. Anyway, we should just acknowledge that I don't know why this is weird. We should acknowledge that teenagers, especially like teenagers, young, like tweens even, they're going to date each other. They're going to have crushes on each other. They're going to have sexual feelings towards one another. They're going to have sexual feelings in general. And to just tell them to fucking, no pun intended, to raw dog the experience without any sort of protection seems unwise, you know? It seems like maybe we could give these kids a heads up about our prior experiences and just talk to them like normal humans, not in a weird way. Just be like, all right, we're in sex ed class. First off, let's just start this out. Who has questions? What's the number one question about sex or your body? Like, what's questions you have? Let's just start there. Beautiful. Also, talk about consent all the way through schooling. Very important. Lily, thanks for the 200 biddies. I mean, a friend of mine teaching me about masturbation in 7th grade after one of the principals freaked out about it being called Master Bates on a test pep rally. His name was Mr. Bates, doxed, and the joke was some 8th graders calling him Test Master Bates. He lost his mind. There was a rumor that went around in my school about a nickname for one of the teachers' dicks being called Gus, because somehow someone saw his dick at some point and they were making fun of him. And I don't know if that's true or not. That was just a rumor. And he would get fucking pissed if you mentioned the name Gus in his his fucking classroom. See, kids, chats are like classrooms used to be. He got fucking mad. And I don't know why. It was before my time. Like, seniors told us that shit as freshmen. We're like, what? Are they just fucking around? What does that mean? They gave you a travel-sized deodorant and showed you VHS about puberty and never talked about it again? Comprehensive.
They're giving middle school children guides to gay sex and anal sex, sex toys.
How would you describe the type of sex education that you would like to see in schools?
At this point, I want all sex education actually removed from schools because I don't trust the schools to do it.
Okay.
Classic.
After what we've seen, I don't trust them at all. Zero. We need to completely eradicate it and then redo it in a normal way that's appropriate.
Okay, so what's the redo?
So I saw you said that you got banned from Stripe today. How much money did you have tied up in that platform?
I'm not going to get into that. Mm-hmm. They already restored me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're back.
Yeah.
I noticed, I think it was around last summer, you deleted a lot of your tweets and you kind of stopped posting. This is when Seth Dillon kind of tweeted, asking if you fell off or, saying that you weren't posting as you used to. What happened during that time, and did you think about quitting?
I have no idea. And no, I never thought about quitting.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, just trying to subtly roast her the whole time.
Why'd you delete all your old posts?
It was just a one-time editorial decision. I stand by all my posts.
A one-time editorial decision? Yeah, you had a crisis. She clearly had a crisis, and she deserves to have more in the future. She absolutely does. Now's about the time to remind you guys that if you are annoyed with her fucking face and voice, that you can interrupt this stream with a booty partay, and we'll run it properly this time.
I guess speaking of deleting posts, you still have a post up accusing the Uvalde shooter of being trans. Obviously, that's been debunked.
Yeah, there's a community note on it.
So why not remove that post if you're so comfortable with removing posts?
Because there's a community note. I think it's clear.
Because there's a community note. I think it's clear.
I could drink cum by the gallon load and never get pregnant.
I laugh at the same time as the laugh in the clip every time. Thank you, Mr. Whiskers. Stormageddon, give one to Maddie F. It sounds like the two of you want this over with right now.
It's obviously it was unintentional. There was a watermark on it. It was from a meme, an account that was going around, and I'm glad there's a community note so people know that.
Do you believe if, say, a journalist posts something factually incorrect or wrong, especially about someone else, if somebody was to say something factually wrong about you, do you believe they should remove that, or do you think they should be able to keep that content up?
Ooh, rocking a hard place. Let's see where she'll go with this one.
Twitter is free speech.
You seriously have never once heard of a man's cock referred to as a tallywhacker?
That's just terrible. Thank you, Quebeca.
I hope you have a fantastic day.
She says you can free speech on Twitter at her. She infuriates you more than any of these other grifters. Go use your free speech right now, then.
People lie about me all the time on there, and they don't get taken down. If you want, it has to go both ways.
So you believe that people should be allowed to keep up wrong information about you and have no recourse, be able to keep that up?
Free speech is free speech.
Okay.
Amazing. So wrong information about her is fine by her. That is a very fascinating thing to say.
So I'm kind of curious how you square that with the letter that you sent this morning to V-Sphere, claiming that, you were going to try to sue her for slander. If free speech is free speech, then why are you threatening your critics with lawsuits?
Well, defamation is different.
So would you...
Oh, defamation is different.
...call misidentifying a shooter's sexuality defamation?
No, I wouldn't. Like I said, there's already a community note on it, so I'm glad that people now.
And you admit that it's wrong, right? Was the Uvalde?
Yeah, and I wasn't the creator of that image.
Sure, but you can imagine if somebody amplified wrong information.
The media, like Washington Post and other places, they lie all the time. They're never held accountable. They never remove it. They lie and lie and lie. So I am not gonna. If you want to hold me to that level, then I get to hold you to that level as well.
You are held. Everyone's held to that level,
and all the other media. So I just don't think it's not accurate to compare it, because
was the Uvalde shooter trans?
The Uvalde shooter wasn't trans.
Got it. And so I guess knowing that you posted wrong information, you're saying it should stay up, and everybody else should be allowed to keep whatever they have up as well. Is that sort of your stance? Am I accurately understanding it?
Is there a law against...
No, I'm not asking law. I'm just asking your personal sort of opinion. I'm just kind of curious because it seems like you have come after other people, such as V-Sphere and other critics, saying you posted wrong information about me, take it down. I totally get that. That's your prerogative.
It's different with defaming a journalist like that. They're defaming me.
And you don't think that calling a shooter trans when they weren't trans is defaming anyone?
No.
Okay, interesting.
Interesting.
I guess
they're knowing
that is interesting. This wouldn't hold up at all. Where's the line? She's just a hypocrite at all times.
Lying about me.
And
I have terrible news. We're gonna have to wait another hour for anyone to be able to interrupt this.
And what would you say that you did when you sort of posted that about the shooter being trans?
Like I said, an image that was going around for months that I shared from another thing accidentally, and I'm glad there's a community note on it.
Why don't you just? It'd be so easily be like, you know what? I should delete that.
I know you come from a more traditional family and sort of a more traditional culture.
It's already sped up.
What is your family and think of your success? You've made a huge career for yourself. You're obviously a rising star in conservative media. How's that affected your interpersonal relationships?
I'm not going to get personal. My personal relationships.
Yeah. How's it affected your life? I mean, just dealing with this sort of fame relatively overnight.
So, I mean, thanks in partly to you, there's been a lot of death threats, a lot of really nasty messages.
You seem kind of proud about the press that you've received. I mean, your profile picture is holding up a newspaper with you in the headline.
Yeah, a newspaper where they just basically lied about me. I thought it's funny that they just continue to make up these lies and libels.
Lies and libels. Wow. Yeah, man. She's a stochastic terrorist. I mean, another individual that is lucky that the extreme left isn't so damn extreme.
You've gotten even if you discount the mainstream media and just talk about the conservative media, I think your platform has risen pretty significantly. What changes has it had on you? I mean, I cover the content creator industry, and I've seen a lot of people go from sort of a very low-key life, which I would imagine you were living before, to a massive amount of attention and, money and powerful people around you. How has that affected you?
Like I said, some safety issues. In part thanks to you and to some other members of the media.
Dude, she can't even make eye contact while wearing sunglasses while she's having this conversation. She's wearing it on her face so hard.
I'm not going to get into my personal life.
Oh, no, not about your personal life. I'm just wondering about your career aspirations. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
We'll see. You can make all the plans you want, and God could decide something else,
So you don't have any sort of 5-year plan, 10-year plan?
I mean, I have plans, but nothing I'm going to share.
I'm curious.
I have plans, but nothing I'm going to share. Why is she so hostile? Why would you say yes to this?
If Trump was reelected, would you be interested in a job with his administration?
Maybe.
Who are you supporting in the election?
There's one candidate, Trump. Yeah.
Will you be campaigning on his behalf?
We'll see.
Are you hoping to kind of, would you see yourself in DC?
I haven't made any plans yet.
How did you get connected with Oklahoma, the state of Oklahoma, and how many times have you been to that state?
I was there once. They have, unfortunately, a lot of wokeness in their red state, and I'm trying to help.
They have a lot of wokeness in Oklahoma? Sure, man.
How'd you originally how'd Oklahoma get on your radar as opposed to some others?
Because I started posting about the stuff going on in schools there, like I do across the country. And then, people were very upset that this was happening in their schools.
So, and you've been once. What do you think qualifies you to be on the board or, have to do with education, the education system there? Being that I don't believe you have children in the Oklahoma schools, you don't live in Oklahoma, you've only been once. How does that qualify you to sort of serve in that capacity?
What are the qualifications that they require to be on this committee?
USA Today reported on that, but I believe it was that you had to, I might get it wrong, but I think you have to be some sort of educator. You have to have worked as an educator.
Okay, I was a teacher once.
You were?
Yeah.
Okay. So you feel like that qualifies you to sort of inform policies in Oklahoma?
I wasn't aware of any kind of qualifications that they require.
So the answer would normally be no. But it's actually just no and fuck you for asking. Very bitter.
I don't believe they require any qualifications.
Yeah, I was thinking more even just informally. But that makes sense. I guess, speaking of Oklahoma, obviously we saw the tragic death of Nex, a young child.
Tragic.
I'm curious about your reaction. You posted a selfie shortly after people were asking you to address the issue, and you said, to the haters and the losers. Who are you addressing in that statement?
Anyone who hates me and anyone who's a loser.
Okay. Why would you choose to post that in response to people asking you to speak about this child's death?
It was not a response to that.
I guess why would you post that prior to making any statement about Nex's death?
So, just to be clear, you're trying to police me on when I'm allowed to post selfies?
No, just curious.
I wanted to post it. I thought it was a cute picture, and I just decided to post it.
How do you feel about Nex's death?
It's very tragic. It's horrible.
Do you believe Nex should have been allowed to receive gender-affirming care?
She should not be allowed to go on irreversible puberty blockers or get sex change surgery.
How do you think about the fact that, so often your posts, things that you post about hospitals, libraries, schools, etc., after you make these posts about them, they deal with threats. Sometimes bomb threats, sometimes harassment.
We don't know who's calling in the threats. And, I mean, look, bomb threats are bad. I've said that 1,000 times. People who call in bomb threats should be arrested and investigated. You can't call in bomb threats. But I just don't know what does it have to do with.
Well, I guess, a recent NBC investigation found at least 33 instances where you posted about a specific person or institution, and that person or institution was immediately bombarded with death threats and violent threats.
Yeah, do you feel like there's any correlation there?
Including bomb threats, other violent threats. It's a pretty significant correlation.
Yeah.
How do you, what are your thoughts on
that? Yeah, I don't know if you saw, but I got tons of death threats this week after the entire media machine came after me. So are they responsible for those?
I don't think that there's the same correlation. Are you receiving bomb threats?
I'm receiving death threats, like, hi, I'm going to come murder you.
Yeah. And
hi, I'm going to come murder you? What? So, none of these people ever do that, though. I've never seen... When's the last time a right-wing person was, taken down by some left-wing ideologue? I cannot remember the last time. There was a senator at a baseball game that was shot at, but was that a left-winger? I think it was it was about the war, wasn't it? Wasn't it a war thing? I literally cannot think of the last one. Yeah, he got shot in the hip. I'm trying to think. What is... It's certainly... in the 1800s? That's the last time a leftist killed a political murder of a Republican or I mean, not a Republican, I guess a conservative or right-winger. I can't think of one. Why do they call us extreme? We do not have that dog in us.
I definitely sympathize with you there.
I get those literally, the article goes live and then I get those threats.
I get the same thing when a Fox News article goes live.
So is the journalist responsible? The journalist who posted the article?
I would say, there's a different responsibility when we're talking about media. And I guess to me, a death threat is different than a violent bomb threat. A death threat, I think we're kind of getting normalized to them, unfortunately, online. We get a lot of them. Probably you and I get them constantly, 24/7. I'm wondering kind of how you think about taking these obscure people, right? Because you and I are both public figures, and I imagine you and I we have a high tolerance, right, for what we can handle online. Sure. Say you're taking a private citizen, a gay teacher, for instance, in a small town, and you post about that person, and then that person subsequently, who had no media presence prior, receives pretty violent threats. How does that make you feel?
We need to answer the question first, though.
Oh God, we're just fucking dancing around it because it's a tough question. This is a good interview so far. I don't know any of her other work, but
is the journalist responsible for actions that have to happen after?
So you consider sort of your posts about private citizens, incendiary posts, you consider that journalism?
I'm an independent journalist.
And do you think that there's a
journalist? What do you journal?
Difference between doing journalism on a completely private figure that has no public presence and no institutional power versus reporting on a powerful public institution or person?
You still didn't answer the question. Is the journalist responsible for reporting for any actions that happen after the reporting?
Personally, I think that journalists should take care and should consider sort of the framing, and I think that they should do their best not to appear as if they encourage that sort of behavior. I've noticed that you haven't necessarily publicly condemned that behavior, publicly told your supporters, listen guys, stop calling in these bomb threats.
Who said it's my followers? Do you have information that it's my followers?
I guess who else is following?
We actually do have information on that. When there's dudes that write manifestos and get arrested by the ATF and fucking plot things. Yeah, we literally do see they follow Chuds of TikTok. Not Chuds of TikTok. Follow Chuds of TikTok. They follow Libs of TikTok. They follow fucking Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, Steve Bannon types, fucking Alex Jones, like all these people. It's the same shit every time.
Followers would it be?
I don't know.
So
There's 300 million people in this country.
So you post bomb threats follow, and you're saying it might be just unrelated people?
I have no idea. We don't know who it is.
Have you taken steps to find out?
We filed some FOIAs with police departments. Yeah.
What have you found?
We haven't got to anything useful yet that we can use. But actually, one of them, we know it's like some foreign actor, not even from the country. So who knows who it is?
Yeah. It seems like Twitter is your main platform these days, although I know you've been posting on Rumble. How much money have you made from the platform?
It's personal.
Is that what sort of portion of your revenue is based on Twitter as opposed to other platforms?
That's personal. So speaking of Twitter, do you regret not getting a blue check? Because then you can make tons of money.
No, I don't monetize online.
I don't monetize?
Yeah, I don't. If I was an independent journalist, maybe, but I'm not. I don't monetize on any of my social platforms.
She just cannot fucking understand it.
So, I noticed you sort of, speaking of the media.
She's like, but you're not greedy?
You changed your approach recently, or at least it seems like you're being a little bit more antagonistic towards the media and a little bit more forceful in the way that you speak about the media. What led to that change?
Being lied about and defamed for 2.5 years.
Lied about and defamed. Accurately reporting on what you do, and then you to say it's a lie is like fucking crazy. I don't know how you can just do that. What a little worm.
I guess what led to, I would assume you felt like that for quite a while. What led you to sort of change the way that you speak about the media, or the sort of...
Well, their attacks were ramping up. So, like I said, the lies and the defamation, the hypocrisy.
If you eradicate transgenderism, which I believe you suggested in a post today...
No, I never suggested that.
Oh, okay. You reposted a post that was advocating for that. What would happen to the people that have already medically, socially, completely transitioned and are leading happy lives? What would happen to them? I mean, what's your plan for that? If transgenderism doesn't exist, which it seems like that's what you believe, what happens to all the people living happy lives as trans people?
Well,
that's
first of all,
good question.
Well, the whole trans it's based on a lie. You can't change your gender.
Oh, but they did though. But they did.
Okay, but
so they could go live their life. I mean, I can't tell someone what to do in their house.
Sounds like you do want to tell people what to do in their house.
I never said that.
So you're totally okay with people being trans, just not as long as they're in public?
No, I never said that. They could.
What?
It's the whole thing is based off of a lie, and I think that.
Aren't you religious, dog?
This lie
based on a lie. You're religious.
Not be mainstream in our society. It's it's a lie.
It's just a lot. That's fucking brilliant. What a fucking useful waste of resource. Like, can you imagine, like there's oxygen being used by her brain right now. They could be going to somebody else. It could literally, a bird or something could be sucking up that oxygen. Instead, it's her.
And what harm is it causing, do you believe?
I like the truth. I like truth.
Right, but
you can't say you like truth and be religious.
I'm saying, what's the harm of people expressing their gender identity differently than you believe it to be? What harm are they causing?
Like I said, we are a nation of truth, and I seek the truth.
But I'm asking about the harm. What's the harm? You might believe it to be false, but what's
the harm is that there's a lie that is very mainstream and is being embedded into every institution.
I guess I'm wondering what the material harm is. Aside from it's maybe something that you disagree with, as in your version of the truth is different than their version of the truth, what is the material harm of them living their life as a woman or man or gender that you don't agree with?
Not anything that's wrong is there a material harm necessarily.
So there's no harm?
I didn't say that.
So can you name a single harm?
The way that it's pushed onto kids, first of all.
What's pushed onto kids?
Gender ideology, transgenderism.
But if they're leading happy lives, and they just are leading a
Well, there are studies that show that they're more suicidal after transition.
There aren't studies that show that, actually. There are none. In fact, all the studies show the exact opposite of that. It's actually interesting. I have multiple studies here right now about hormone treatments, the risks of the different things that go on with hormone replacement therapy and stuff. There's one of these, I can't remember which one because we read them for a little while ago. They've just been open on my computer, that talks about the afterwards, the mental health benefits were resounding successes, 98% plus. If she were religious or observant, she wouldn't be engaging in speaking ill of anyone. I don't know if you've met religious people before, Kelly. but that's not an entirely accurate appraisal of their ways. She's just beehive full of buzzwords. She.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, there's a study out of Sweden.
That is not true. That is not true.
Yeah, you can look up the study.
Well, taking into account all of the happy people that have transitioned, who are not harming anyone, you can't come up with a single material harm.
So if someone says, I'll be happier if I'm blind, should a doctor pull their eyes out?
Okay, first of all, not many people are like, please pull my eyes out. The people who want their eyes pulled out, which are very few, are the people who are experiencing discomfort by having the eyes, I'm assuming. But in any case, steelmanning the position, if someone was so adamant to me, they're like, my life, I would rather kill myself than live with eyes, I'd be like, okay, take your eyes, I don't care. That's fine. Deeply conflating, obviously, trans people have their eyes. Trans people, in fact, are not asking people to take their eyes, though I do think it's entirely 100% ethical for you to opt out of eyes. If you're just like, fuck this, I don't want to look at Chaiya's face for one more second, I don't condone you taking your own eyes out, but I do understand it, and I support your right to do whatever you want with your body. Just take my eyes.
I think that's quite different than gender ideology, but people do, you know, I guess.
Someone says I'm happier if I chop.
In Judaism, there's a concept of lashon hara, which is not speaking ill of anyone in any manner. Oh, that's pretty cool. So Jewish people do not observe this lashon hara ever. I've never met one. Like maybe there's like just the most kind. Like Jewish people are just normal people, and sometimes they speak ill of people, just like everybody else. Certainly not in Israel right now. Goodness. Yeah, so I agree that those would be like it's kind of a no true Scotsman. Religion is a social construct, and it's not surprising that human beings fail at adhering.
Chop my dick off, and we should just let them do that.
You should definitely chop your dick off.
I guess
someone says I'm happier if I chop my dick off, and we should just let them do that.
Yes, with a meat cleaver. What the fuck? You don't have a dick. You don't know the struggles.
I hope you have a fantastic day.
Rublov, you want a Kelly voice? Thank you, Kelly Voicer. Agreed.
I think, you know, there's a lot of gender-affirming care that women do, right? I mean, women ascribe to certain gender things. You see women getting boob jobs to affirm their gender. I mean, we're in Los Angeles. We see this kind of gender-affirming.
So again, you're comparing boob jobs and nose jobs to
they're
people
gender-affirming.
Buying into the lie that they could change their sex.
You can consider it a lie if you want, but yes.
Enhancements are gender affirming for women. There's a lot of women that feel small chested. They feel like it would be gender affirming for them to have plastic surgery, and they're allowed to do it. And I noticed that you don't critique that. I guess I'm curious, Chaiya, you know.
Chaiya? Okay.
There are a lot of people that have ideas about women, right? And about what makes a woman, right? What makes a appropriate woman? How should a woman? You're saying you're against people sort of like living lies or living outside this ideology that you've constructed. Some might say, look, we're both women over the age of 25, working. I certainly don't have kids. You know, they might consider that not okay for a woman. Do you think it's up to that? Do you think it's okay for them to dictate how you live your life as a woman? Do you think it's up or sort of where does that line get drawn?
Yeah, where does that get drawn?
So again, you're comparing boob jobs to a teenage girl chopping off her breasts.
So yeah, that's boob jobs and mastectomies. Those are also boob jobs, reverse jobs, really. So why? So do you think teenage girls can get bigger boobs? Do you think because that's a thing that happens? Teenage girls do get boob jobs. Do you think that they can? Because they do already. Top surgery is just breast reduced to 0%. It's all boob work. It's all titties, dude.
Well, first of all, teenage girls get boob jobs, but breast enhancements are gender affirming for many women. I'm asking you, why is it that people have to live under
cis men can get mastectomies as well? Samger music, thanks, Paul.
Your sort of view of gender? And
it's not my view. It's science. It's facts. It's biology.
But biology, if we're talking biology, there's a spectrum of gender. There's people.
Only teenage girl I knew who had breast surgery before 18 was to make them smaller due to pain. I've known people that had them, like I said earlier, like they got them for like fucking 16, sweet 16s, or turning 18 or something. Yeah.
That are intersex.
That is a rare medical condition. That has nothing to do with someone deciding that they could be the opposite gender.
I guess I'm still kind of struggling to understand how you think, if your view, say tomorrow Trump is elected, he says, all right, we're going to all live by Chaiya's, decisions, right? What about all these happy trans people that are living their lives, that are not harming anyone? What is
Trying so hard to have this conversation.
What harm are they doing by living their life as a woman who've medically transitioned? They're adults. You know, I understand you have problems with kids, but with adult trans people, what's the harm that they're doing to society?
To society, they're spreading a lie that is affecting children also.
So you just believe gender is a lie. And what if somebody said to
Trans, you can't change your gender.
And what if somebody said to you, you know, you're not a real woman. You're not a real woman because maybe you don't meet these certain specific definitions of femininity.
That's fine. I don't care. They can call me whatever you want.
But what if
Right. You get it. There it is. Wait. Who cares? Huh? Close. Very close. She's stupid. Yep.
if you would be forced to live by that system? Do you think it's fair that you would, you know, be forced?
Is that based in like science?
Well, I don't think any of it
is. It based on you are religious? Religious people never get to appeal to biology or science. Okay, you just don't get to. It's out the window for you.
Really based in science.
And if you're an atheist, you can't fucking appeal to some kind of higher moral ethics. I mean, like,
gender is a social construct.
Well, gender is actually made up.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes, we agree on this. We agree.
By a child predator, by a pedophile.
We don't agree.
Yeah. So he made up gender, and now they conflate the two, and they use it to basically trans kids. So they're
basically trans kids. All right. Explain to me why we want the kids to be trans. I don't. Here's the thing. The take that lefties actually have on this is we don't care. I want kids to be happy with who they are. That's what I want, right? And whatever we need to do to help kids be happy with who they are is what we should do, right? No one's saying, like, pretty much every medical expert agrees that kids have to grow a little bit before you can start taking stuff off and changing it. But also every medical expert agrees that once you're to that point, you could take stuff off and change it. It doesn't matter. Also, conflating transgenderism. Okay, we haven't addressed this yet. I think my audience gets it from me, but I don't know who's watching. You do not have to get surgery to be trans. You don't have to want surgery to be trans. Surgery isn't a thing most trans people seek out. Not all trans people are like fucking binary. Like, usually it's I'm a man and I'm chopping my dick off and becoming a woman. That's their fucking thing in their head. Like, that's not even most trans people. A lot of trans people are non-binary. A lot of trans people are just like gender fluid. A lot of trans people might seek more you know, it wouldn't be a focus around their genitals necessarily or their secondary sex characteristics, though it could. And a lot of this stuff takes time for them to even figure out what they want, right? It's just about being happy with yourself and who you are and where you fit in and where you want to be and all that shit. It's complex. I don't think it matters. I don't have a fucking opinion at all on how you should be trans or otherwise. I don't care. That's my opinion. Like, I don't... Ugh. Dude. I am an ally because there are opponents. If you were just normal, I wouldn't I wouldn't even consider myself anything. It would just be like, yep, these are everyone's just people. I don't care. I got an itch, chat. I got an itch right there. I'm gonna get it right now. Oh yeah, everyone's soothed now. I wish I didn't have to be an ally to any single one of you. I wish we were just buds, you know. This is super stupid to me. It's such a wasteful time spender. Like, we have so many interesting things as the human race to discuss about, like, even our nature. That's very, like, just the conversation about gender and what is it, that's super interesting. I don't know, because we're little fucking mammals. We actually don't have to do anything we want to do or not. We don't have to do anything we don't want to do. Okay, guys. Have you ever imagined about, like, oh man, what if, you know how, like, you go into a sandbox video game and you're like, I could just create whatever I wanted. That's real life. We literally could. We just stop each other from doing, it's whatever. We stop each other. It's really stupid. We could, though. Life is Minecraft, if you think about it.
Actually, two sexes, and there are 0 genders, and there are many personalities. That's what I believe.
Okay. You know, a lot of LGBTQ people say that your posts cause an enormous...
The fact that we even have a concept of I is astounding. This is an evolutionary trait that we're pretty sure we have uniquely among the animal kingdom. And it has to do with our ability to judge ourselves, the concept of ourselves in a third-person perspective within our own minds is super unique. I forget what that's called, but it's the reason we can even get depression or anxiety or anything, though, so it's a double-edged sword. The thing that makes us exceptional on planet Earth is also what we're dealing with.
Enormous amount of pain. How does that make you feel?
How does it make you feel that your reporting on me causes me pain?
I feel sad for that, honestly. Yeah.
So would you stop?
No, I'm a journalist and you're a public figure. But I'm just talking about...
I'm a journalist and you're a public figure. Metacognition? It's something else, but yes. It is metacognition, but there's a term for what I'm thinking of that I can't think of. Maybe I could go find the video I was looking at. Like, do they think animals have a concept of what genitals mean? No.
You know, these non-public figures, right? These non-public figures that are...
Well, if you put yourself out there on a public platform, then you're kind of making
So anybody that posts on social media is a public figure, in your mind?
If you're putting your videos out there with the intention that it should go viral, you want publicity.
So if somebody's posting on social media, which inherently posting on social media, you're looking for attention, right? You're saying that meets the bar for a public figure?
I do not believe that meets the bar for a public figure.
I'm not a lawyer.
But I'm asking your opinion.
I think that these people, well, first of all, a lot of people I post about are actually in positions that are public,
But
teachers,
I'm talking about the people that
doctors.
haven't, right? The individual private citizens that you've posted who are not, I would argue they're not public figures. You're saying they are public figures because they're posting on social media?
They want to be public. They're public. They're going on a public platform and
They
publicly
want to be public, but they're not. You're acknowledging that in their desire to be so.
posting a video on a social media site that is meant for your videos to go viral.
And what about Twitter? Would you consider Twitter as well a platform where stuff is meant to go viral?
Every social media. If someone posts something on social media, it could go viral. It's always a
So,
risk.
got it. So when you were building your audience and had hundreds of thousands of followers, then would you also agree that you were a public figure?
I think that if anyone who puts something out there publicly, anyone could share their stuff.
Got it. And so, but I'm saying you consider these people, LGBTQ people, who are just posting on social media, public figures.
I said I'm not a lawyer. I don't know the legal
I'm just asking
definition
your
of public
opinion.
figure.
One thing you noted, and I'm
asking your opinion.
only asking this because I know that you've noted that, when I reported on you, that you felt like it was unfair and that you didn't meet the bar for a public figure. So I'm just kind of wondering, as somebody with such a large social media audience, you're saying people with much smaller social media audiences meet the bar for a public figure. Wouldn't you have considered yourself a public figure?
If anyone
Hilarious.
puts out content publicly, then that content could go anywhere. That's what I believe. It could go viral.
Wow. So you believe that you're a public figure?
Anyone could share it. It could go to the wrong side.
Okay, so you're a public figure. Here you are, publicly.
What they call the wrong side of TikTok. It could go. People will see it.
The wrong
You
side
can't
of
control that.
TikTok.
That's why they hate me, because they want to create this content and they only want their bubble to see it. And then I'm like showing it to other people and they just can't handle it.
I think you're editorializing it as well.
I provide very little commentary, probably the least from any other Twitter account that's even a quarter my size.
Let's talk about
I probably do the least amount of fucking content work than anyone else. She boldly proclaims.
drag shows. You've come out a lot about, you're very against drag shows. Can you give any examples of children being harmed from drag shows?
Yeah, there was one where this mom was saying that her kid decided to be non-binary after watching the drag show, and then the drag queen helped the kid buy new clothes to be non-binary.
And you consider that harmful?
Yeah, well, because non-binary is made up. There's no such thing as non-binary.
Why? Being non-binary is fake. You're fake, which means you can't be convicted of crimes. You're fake.
And then it just leads a kid on a path where probably they'll end up in a hospital getting some other body parts chopped off.
Their body parts chopped off? Nope.
Are you very against plastic surgery? Are you against...
I'm against sex change surgeries.
You're against sex change surgeries? Like for adults too? Wild. I can't imagine respecting your opinion on what... I don't want to seek a sex change surgery, in her words, or gender-affirming surgery. But I want the right to it,
What about women that want to get their boobs done, want to get their nose done, want to get cheek implants?
We're just going to go in circles.
Well, I'm just curious.
But it's good to note that you're comparing nose jobs to teen girls getting their breasts chopped off.
Well, teen girls also get boob jobs to make their breasts bigger, right? So both are gender affirming in different ways. You seem very obsessed with one and not interested in the other. So that's kind of what I'm interested in. And I guess I don't really understand that because both are gender affirming in different ways.
I don't call it gender affirming care. I call it sex change surgeries for people who are sold a lie that they can change their sex.
Where do you sort of hope this will end up? You know, like all of this sort of the advocacy that you're doing. I know you said you don't have a 5-year plan for yourself, but what are some? What's if you were sort of like
say eradicate the trans people here? Is this like what is she going to? What could she possibly say?
Describe your platform. What are some things that you'd like to see meaningful changes in terms of policies, laws?
Oh, I want to eradicate gender ideology from public life.
From public life completely?
Yeah, the whole thing is built on a lie.
Well, you certainly have a gender yourself.
Gender ideology? No, I don't. I have a sex. Gender. There's no such thing as gender.
Okay.
I said gender's made up. There's no such thing.
I agree that gender is a completely social construct.
No, it doesn't exist. It's
Okay, it doesn't exist. Like, do laws exist then? You know, right? Does a law exist? Does a formula exist or something like a math formula? I don't know. Fine, no more gender. Cool. Gender abolition. I mean, like very radical approach to this. So, I think gender abolition is cool and is like sort of like the anarcho-communism that we crave. It's like, yeah, man, wouldn't it be cool if none of us cared about that? But it's probably unattainable, especially in our lifetimes, because we were all born with the social construct in our brains. So it would take generations, at least 3 generations, maybe 4. If we started today, we just know gender in our heads, you know?
there are 0 genders. I have a sex, I'm female.
There are 0 genders.
Yeah.
So you want to live in sort of a post-gender world where everybody can kind of express themselves through personality however they like.
Well, that's what it is now, but they're just calling it gender.
So,
but you know, there's males and females, and then you know,
so if
there's
they were to,
infinite.
I'm just kind of curious here, and I'm certainly not a gender scholar, so I'm not sure.
Okay, so there's males and females. Cool. Can males and female? Can I act however the fuck I want? Can I look however I want to look? You know, if gender doesn't exist anyway, then it's not about gender. It's just about fucking aesthetics, right? So can I just do whatever I want? Why can't I?
You know, maybe somebody sort of posed this question too, but if people were to let's just say, you know what, fine, we eliminate male, female, non-binary, whatever gender, we eliminate that. We're all just people, or we identify by our sex. Would you still be okay with people, you know, wearing dresses if, you know, they appear to be biologically male, or, you know, women shaving their head, you know, things like that? Are you still okay with that as long as they're not calling themselves by a different name?
Don't sexualize kids. That's what I'm against.
But I'm just saying, like, you want to live in a post-gender world where there's no gender, right? And anybody can just have the personality and express themselves however they want.
That's how it is now. These people who are calling themselves a different gender.
But I'm just saying, you're right, really, and your issue is with the language around that, right? So I'm saying, let's eliminate the language. All right, do you support people, adults? Let's just talk about adults for the sake of, you know, this discussion. Do you support those adults having bodily autonomy, dressing, acting, you know, painting their nails or shaving their head or doing whatever they want to do to express themselves?
Yeah.
I don't care if a guy wants to paint his nails.
So you don't care about...
Leave the kids out of it. Don't sexualize the kids. Don't confuse the kids.
So speaking of sexualization of kids, you know, I think one group of young people that's constantly sexualized is young women. What are your thoughts, and why haven't you, I guess, come out more against some of the sort of sexualization of young women, especially in the right-wing media ecosystem? There's a focus on youth in women. There's a focus on sort of women under 25, women losing value with age. This is stuff, you know, that's been...
I'm a woman in the conservative movement. I never once felt sexualized.
Well, I mean... Yeah. Yeah.
You've never felt sexualized yourself, but I'm saying, why don't you speak out about sort of sexual abuse in the straight world, I guess?
So, you just changed topics.
No, I'm saying, like, you're saying we're against the sexualization of kids.
Yeah.
One group of children that's constantly sexualized is young women. 13-year-old girls, 14-year-old girls are constantly sexualized on the internet, often by conservatives. So I'm wondering, especially given, you know, what some commentary has come from like people at the Daily Wire, for instance, right? They've made comments about young women losing value with age, which is kind of a pedophilic ideology. Why not speak out on that?
I've never seen that. I have no evidence.
You've never seen
Liar. You've never seen fucking someone be told that their eggs are gonna dry up or something. Come on, dude. You fucking liar.
women getting sexualized?
I focus on kids.
And you've never
Wow, what an own. I focus on kids.
seen young girls getting sexualized?
I've seen young girls getting sexualized. I'm referring to the Daily Wire thing. I can't answer
Okay,
for that.
but let's just talk about young girls. Why don't you speak out about that? Why don't you speak out about sort of heteronormative cisgender men, traditional men, sexualizing young girls, young female girls?
I speak out about the sexualization of kids.
But you don't speak out about sort of the sexualization of kids by straight people.
I don't discriminate on who's sexualizing the kids.
But
if the kid's being sexualized.
Well, but there's only one group of kids that you're talking about, which is you're concerned about sort of people being sexualized by the LGBTQ community. I'm saying a lot of straight older men.
Not necessarily the LGBTQ. I mean, if they're, I don't want straight teachers to be talking about their sexuality in schools either.
So you wouldn't be okay with a straight teacher, for instance, discussing their marriage?
I think it's weird.
Just say, I think it's weird for a member of my community to acknowledge their spouse. Teachers are members of the community that teach the kids during the day. They can be married. Some of them teachers are fucking each other, by the way. Did you know that?
Why would someone discuss their marriage in the classroom?
Honestly, I don't know. You were a teacher. I feel like teachers sometimes do that, I do.
Yeah, they wear wedding rings and talk about their life. They're a whole ass human person. My teacher came in pregnant every year. She's not gonna acknowledge it? Hey, how did that happen? It's not like she goes, my husband come in me. She says, oh, we're having a baby. Me and my husband are having our third or fourth baby. Like, it's a lot of babies, dude.
Do you think that there is a sexualization of children from straight couples? I mean, I know that I went shopping for a friend recently to find little baby onesies, and when you're looking for little boy baby onesies, a lot of them say, I want, where's my mommy's tits, or whatever. You see these kind of, I would say, sexual innuendo on babies' clothes. I've never seen you post about that. I've never seen you post about sort of sexualization from the straight community, I guess.
I don't discriminate against who's doing the sexualization. I guess, what are you defining as sexualization? But I've never said, oh, look, here's porn in school, and the librarian is not straight. No, I don't care who the librarian is. I don't care if they're straight or gay or trans or whatever they want to say they are.
Yeah, I just think it seems... I guess I wonder why you don't focus on sort of young girls as a woman. I mean, were you ever sexualized as a young child?
No.
I find that interesting because I think all women kind of experience that, although it depends on your community. But I do think that there's a focus on women and age as well. And there's this notion that women lose value as they age. And I hear that all the time in my comments from conservatives.
I've never once seen that.
You've never?
That's a fucking lie, dude. That's actually crazy to say that you've never seen that shit. Dude, she's pathological. She's worse than... you knew she was a bad person, but it's just she's just so bad. How do you just not acknowledge that? I mean, I guess you have to deny it in this scenario. What's she gonna say? She can't defend herself against sexualizing predatory men. I bet if you went into her comments under her selfies and shit, they'd be freaking out. Creepy.
Ever seen that?
No.
I feel like
I've never seen a conservative figure say that women lose value when they age.
Why do you think there's such an obsession about women and ages then?
Women, I've never known there was an obsession. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Women and ages?
Yeah. There is a notion, especially platformed by conservative media, that women lose value as they get older. You see this espoused constantly when people are talking about reproductive capabilities. Oh, her eggs
You're
are
saying
dried
when
up.
they promote family values, oh, you should get married and have kids? Is that what you call sexualization?
No. I'm talking about more derogatory remarks made against women and their age. I bring it up because I think a lot of your fans seem to obsess about women and ages, and so it's misogyny at its core, and I never see you speak up about that. So I was just kind of curious about.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm wondering why you don't speak up about the sexualization of kids.
I don't think it's a problem. I don't see as much. If I saw an example of a child being sexualized, of course I have a problem with, certain things. I will say.
So do you think we should give kids porn in school? The images of gay sex and porn?
I went to public school, and in public school, at least when I was growing up, we were absolutely given literature, explaining sex, educating people.
It had pictures of anal sex?
Oh, absolutely. And it actually talked about condom use.
What grade?
But I don't remember, but certainly probably middle school. I think that's when we had sex ed.
We didn't have pictures of anal sex in the sex ed class. I did, however, have a teacher talk about it quite enthusiastically on an occasion. She was She was a wild time. We had sex ed every couple weeks with her. I don't know what the schedule was. She taught health, and like every once in a while it would be sex ed class. There wasn't sex ed. There wasn't like porn. We had like anatomical fucking. Nothing turned me on. I do not remember. Does anyone recall being turned on by sex ed discourse? I feel like every kid is just sort of like embarrassed. It wasn't hot. I have never heard of a hot sex ed experience in my life. I haven't even heard of kids coming out of sex ed and then being like, oh man, we should try some stuff. You know what I mean? Like, none of us were encouraged to have sex. It was the least sexy stuff ever, right? And we're teenagers who are horny. We're horny teenagers, ready to go. But I don't remember that being horny. Isn't that wild? People who get sex ed actually wait longer to fuck. Yeah, all the evidence agrees. Yeah. I think it's super uncomfortable. Sex ed is so important. The closest I got to that for my class was virginity pledge, Domino's coupons. Fuck yeah.
Do you think like books like Genderqueer, This Book is Gay, we should give that to kids in school?
I have
Genderqueer. In the 7th grade, we watched an STD video and a kid threw up. Fuck yeah, dude.
not read those books, so I don't know. But I do think that it's important to educate kids about sexuality, if nothing else, because, you know, I have spoken to women that were abused sexually when they were young, very young. And one thing that they've told me is that they wish that they had the language to talk about it, and they weren't educated. They grew up in I only know 2 that I've spoken to about this, but they've grown up in sort of societies where they weren't very educated about sex ed. They didn't receive sex ed in class. They went to a Catholic school or other types of schooling. And so I do think it's really important for kids to understand sex, because as we all know, a lot of teenagers can be sexually active. And I think sex education is important to promote, you know, healthy attitudes, healthy understandings of sex. I mean, these are human bodies. You can't just expect to send kids off at 18 with absolutely no sex ed and then think that they can function in the world.
So we should give kids like pictures of gay sex in middle school. And actually,
Pictures of gay sex in a vacuum? No. In sex ed, I don't mind depicting forms of sexual intercourse for educational purposes, right? I do disagree. Okay, Steel Manning, I disagree with a sex ed teacher going up and spending an hour trying to turn on the kids, right? That's bad. I don't begrudge a sex ed teacher going up and spending an hour educating kids while they sit uncomfortably as a teacher that they've known for 4 years talks to them about their genitals, right? Like, it's not the fucking chillest vibe.
actually elementary school, some of them.
Chaiya says gay sex with a hard R. Fucking true.
I guess I'm wondering what you consider that. I think.
Do you want to see a picture?
Well, I don't know, but I mean, are you talking about the ones that you've posted on your Twitter account? Yeah. I guess those don't look like what I received when I did sex ed, but I think sex ed is important because it actually helps.
So you didn't have those types of things when you were in school?
Oh no, we had sex ed.
I'm saying the images I posted on my Twitter.
When you had sex ed in school, did you not get books with graphic
with
imagery?
Pictures of gay sex?
I remember. I don't remember how old you are, but I grew up in the 90s when HIV and AIDS was a big thing, and we certainly learned about gay sex in school.
Absolutely.
So those pictures I posted on my Twitter, you had graphics like that?
I actually don't know. I don't remember, to be honest. But
we TOS incoming. Why would it be TOS? She shows the camera. Oh, okay. Is it TOS to show gender queer? All right.
I do think that it's really important.
But knowing those pictures, you seem to know very well what those pictures are. Do you think that?
I don't. I've seen.
You kept referencing it.
Well, I've seen you post things, but I don't
pull
know.
It up.
But I think, I guess I feel...
Because we need to put this into context.
Yeah.
Does she have it saved on her phone?
Well, we won't know the context, of course, because we don't know the context of how those things are being taught.
Oh, so we could give kids, like, pictures of gay sex as long as it's in the proper context?
I don't know. I mean, it's up to the educator to determine, right? I don't know. I guess...
The answer is yes. You could actually absolutely provide educational content that describes and or depicts aspects of any kind of sex. Like, I think we don't have to teach them BDSM or anything, but like normal sex acts that we know are going to happen. Hand jobs, blow jobs, any of the holes in stuff. You don't have to get into like fetish content, you know, but the kids should be educated on, hey, this is stuff that happened. Like, okay, mostly my opinion on sex ed is that the kids need it so that they can prevent themselves from being abused by people that are preying on their ignorance, okay? That is 90% of it, all right? 10% of it is I just want normal people in the world, right? And then, like, you know, people having healthy sex and stuff with each other. Consent is, like, most of what's going on with sex ed. The other stuff is, like, they should know about their bodies. Yeah, man. Yeah, a lot of STDs. They try to talk you out of it.
I'm curious, Chaiya, why you sort of focus so much about the LGBT? You keep mentioning gay sex, but you don't mention straight sex. Why is there such a focus on the LGBTQ world?
Oh, I don't want pictures of sex in school. Any pictures.
So you don't think children should receive any sort of sex education, straight or gay?
I said I don't want pictures of sex in school.
But you think that they should receive picture-free sex education?
No, I think we discussed this earlier.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious kind of how you're thinking, you know, when you think about the way that you put out content and the way that you think about growing your media empire.
Here, this is a blowjob.
Here, this is a blowjob. And she goes, uh-huh.
What? I don't know what book this is. From.
Genderqueer.
She's going to show the camera.
So should this picture of a blowjob be in elementary school?
Okay. So I've seen this before. This is a depiction of a strap-on, and I have no problem with it. Is this actually TOS? This is fucking chill. Who cares? Who gives a shit? Is this actually fucking bannable on this platform? Isn't this artistic nudity? I guess it's sort of a sex act. Here is a blowjob. So fucking weird for Chaiya to say, here is a blowjob. So it is a depiction of a transmasc individual, I believe, maybe non-binary, I don't remember, or genderqueer. A person with a strap-on having someone else perform fellatio on the strap-on as sort of an affirming act. Does that make sense? I'm sure many of you understand that. I see nothing wrong with this at all. You can suck on a sex toy with your partner. I don't care. It's talking about sex. Yeah, I'm in. Totally fine. This is normal stuff. You can... Did you know it'd be totally fine to have oral sex with a consenting person? What? It is.
I've never seen a book like that in elementary schools, but I have no idea.
It has been. Okay. I posted about it, yeah.
So...
In elementary schools, they're just forcing kids to read this. That's right.
Tell me a little bit about...
So should it be in elementary schools?
I have no idea the context. I have no idea.
So in what context is it okay if it would be in elementary school?
I have absolutely no idea. I have absolutely no...
This book isn't part of sex ed curriculum. That's correct. It is actually just like available in some libraries. You could go check it out if you know about the book. Who cares? Who gives a shit?
No idea. I would not. I don't know, Chaiya, because I haven't seen the rest of that book. I don't know what's in there.
But there is a context that it would be okay to give kids pictures like that of gay sex, anal sex.
I guess sex pictures in school. I don't know because you know who I would defer to on that. Just because neither of us are sex educators, I would defer that question to a qualified professional, a sex educator, and say, hey, you're an expert. You've treated tons. You've educated tons of people. You're a full-time sex educator. You've really studied this. What are the appropriate boundaries? I don't think.
I wouldn't put it into a sex education program because I don't think anyone needs to, like, I don't think that's important for sex education, but I think it's fine to have it available in your library and absolutely to talk about it.
I think that myself as a journalist or a media personality, I don't think I'm the right one to make that decision. And I guess I'm wondering why
I have seen sex educators say that they want these books in schools. So then you're okay with it?
I think I would want to talk to the sex educator and rely on whatever the sex educators say. Okay. I'm wondering why you feel like you're qualified to be a sex educator when you have no background in that.
I don't want to be a sex educator. I just don't want to give kids porn in school.
I totally understand. Tell me a little bit more about sort of, just to change topic, about your content world. You put out a lot. You've got a whole staff now. How do you see your business growing, and what areas would you like to expand into?
I'm not going to get into my business strategy.
Do you see yourself? I've noticed that you've been doing more video content. Are you leaning harder into Rumble?
I like doing video content.
Do you have a partnership with Rumble?
No.
Would you?
Maybe.
What are your thoughts on sort of the way that Twitter has evolved?
I love Twitter. It's the best. I love Elon. Elon rocks.
Have you spoken to Elon?
Elon saved free speech. Not like on the phone.
Elon saved free speech, but freedom of expression is where I draw the line.
Have you talked? Would you meet with him?
Yeah.
What's
been your kind of criticism of Elon, because you're outspoken against Elon?
I'm a huge supporter of free speech and free expression, and I haven't liked the way that Elon has kind of arbitrarily banned journalists. I think that's a little concerning.
Who did he ban?
Oh, many. I mean, he banned, I think he banned Tyler Brown, the researcher. He banned, obviously, myself, Drew Harwell, other journalists.
So how do you feel about all of the conservatives that were being banned left and right when Jack Dorsey had Twitter?
I'm of the personal opinion, and I've said this on Twitter and many times, that, look, it's up to every private platform to set their own community guidelines. I'm not a huge believer in permanent bans. And I've always said that. And I defend that in the sense that these platforms evolve and people's usage of them evolve and people evolve. As you just said, you weren't even you were a completely private citizen 5 years ago. You had no political ideology. Now you have a political ideology. You're a very different person.
So when I got banned from Twitter, you were upset at that? Like you thought that was wrong?
I don't remember you getting banned from Twitter.
I got banned a few times. Not permanently, but
previous to Elon.
Yeah.
My feeling about any bans is that there should be a path to redemption, should you say. That doesn't mean that I don't think that it's in the right prerogative to ban people for 5 years, 10 years, whatever. I just personally feel like if you're going to issue lifetime bans,
This guy's fucking. He's got his motorcycle out today.
you should give people a path to abide by community
Or
guidelines.
is that truck?
If you join back on and you break community guidelines again, look, that's on you. But personally, I think that, that's just my belief, and I've talked about that for years. I think that there should be a path to abiding by. If somebody says, hey, look, I know I broke community guidelines, I know what I was posting was wrong, and in sort of violating those rules, I could see tech companies allowing that back. And actually, that's what Elon has done, right? I mean, he reinstated all those people that were permanently banned.
Elon is the greatest free speech warrior, I think, of all time.
Dude, you can see what she's doing, right? She's just trying to literally suck ding right now to get his ass. So she wants that fucking Elon money bad.
Okay. Well, I try to think what else. I feel like I've gotten through.
Yeah,
most
I think
of these
that's
things.
it. I think we're good.
What else do you have going on?
Nothing much. I'll just continue making fun of the media like I do best.
I still can't. I don't think you answered me to begin with. But what are some of your favorite media outlets?
I said I like independent journalists.
But who?
Like some of the people I follow on Twitter have the best news.
Like who? Like who are your top three?
Let's go.
I would say, first of all, I love Daily Wire. I like Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh. I like everything they do. I really like Jack Posobiec. Shout out to Jack.
Jack Posobiec, dude. She is the worst.
Great. I like Mike Cernovich. He's
Mike Cernovich blocked me. I think Jack Posobiec and Mike Cernovich have both blocked me on Twitter.
cool. Who else is there? Yeah, there's a few others.
Are you still on Substack, by the way? I know you had a Substack at some point.
Yeah. What are your top media place for news?
404 Media. Love 404 Media. Are you familiar with them?
No.
Great website. Independent journalists. Walter Bragman, who does Important Context. Great Substack writer. A huge fan of his work. God, there's so many. Matt Bellamy, Lucas Shaw, Julia Alexander. Yeah, great people. Yeah, try to see. I feel like that's it. I'm just trying to think.
Let's get an Uber and get out of here. I'm gonna order an Uber.
Awesome. All right, let's make sure. Let's see. I know. Sorry. Thank you so much. Let's see. Oh my God, I think this died. Oh my God, it did. Wait, let's see.
So that's the end. That's the end of the interview.
Well,
I guess we can leave it here. Can you believe I'm not that excited about Chaiya's whole fucking play here? She's a liar, dude. She's a Weasley liar. She's trash. She's a bad person. Can we call that an interview? Oh yeah, this was an interview. Taylor Lorenz did a good job. Chaiya Raichick is a piece of shit. Like a huge piece of shit. I don't know how she offers nothing to anybody. And people are like distancing themselves from her. Like the Babylon Bee is literally I don't know. We'll see what happens. She seems like she's so close to a spiral in this petty ass fucking shirt, man. She made it for this. And then she sat here and was shitty the whole time. What a weird vibe. What an absolutely repugnant human being. Nothing good to say about that person. She's 28. What? She's 28? The hate ages you. I actually thought she was like 35, which is how old I am. No shade. Although she has lost all her value, of course. Her value is just shot. Say something nice. But I already end. All right. But I already clicked the video off. You know what's nice? She didn't rage quit. I thought she would walk out, but she sat there the whole time, the whole hour. She gave the whole hour. She had the patience to do that at least. There we go. Something nice about Chaiya. We did it.